Welcome to Better Man. This channel is all about helping young men become the best versions of themselves. I figured I should probably introduce myself because I realize I haven't done that on the last couple videos. My name is Gabe, and that's all you need to know about me for now, I guess. But I'll progressively be trying to talk more about my own life and, relate my personal growth stories to what I'm talking about on this channel. But today's video is all about the following. Be your biggest critic, be your worst critic, rather, and be your biggest fan. So, this is similar to my previous video where I talk about the polarity of self-improvement. But within self-improvement and your goals, your aspirations that you're working to, it's very important to be your own worst critic. And what I mean by this is, when you are on your self-improvement journey, there's going to be times when you're just engaging in behaviors that really aren't going to help you with your goals. An example would be binge drinking. Another example would be staying up late, watching YouTube, jerking off, playing video games. You get 3 hours of sleep, you wake up the next day. These are going to be behaviors that when you're going through these things, when you engage in these behaviors, you need to be honest with yourself. You need to be able to look at yourself and say, I have these goals and what I'm currently doing is not congruent with the goals that I have. If I keep engaging in these behaviors are not going to help me on the path to what I want to become, to what I want to achieve. And being your worst critic means you just need to point out those things and be honest with yourself. And in another aspect too, being your worst critic means you need to be able to be real with yourself when something you're doing is shit. So, if you are trying to go down a certain career path and you realize, man, I'm progressing more slowly than all my peers. Maybe I'm not good at this. If you're not good at it, you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not good at this. This might not be for me. You need to be able to identify the areas where you're not acting up to the standards required to achieve your goals. And that's why I always like to frame it in the context of goals, right? Because it's all about really what you want to achieve. If your goal is, I want to have a 9-to-5 job, well, it doesn't take a lot to achieve that. So you can pretty much do a lot of habits, which for me, I would classify as quote unquote negative habits, but it's really not going to get in the way of your goals. However, for me, I've clarified that I have goals of having quality mental health, minimal anxiety and depression, confidence. I want to be perceived as attractive by women. I want to be seen as confident and authoritative. And, if I just had the goal of a 9-to-5, I could probably stay up late, not work out, not eat right, do all these negative things, but those aren't my goals. The goals I have require all these other areas. So I always like to think of the context, right? Okay, I really want to make $100,000. I want to make 6 figures this year, and I want to save $10,000. Let me talk about an area I've been struggling, that I'm realizing that I am not being congruent with my goals. I want to save money. I want to have a good amount of months of expenses put away, and I want to begin to stack that money so I can begin to either go into real estate or open my own gym. And I've been looking at my habits and I've been realizing, I'm going out to eat a lot with my girlfriend. I'm doing all these things where when I sit down and I'm honest with myself, they're not helping me. They're actually hurting me. They're giving me less security. They're giving me less ability to pursue these goals I have. And I had to just be honest with myself. And it didn't feel good, but it was important to do, because what also didn't feel good was pursuing these short-term pleasures with that underlying feeling, knowing that I'm doing things that are actively impeding my ability to achieve what I've set out to be my purpose. And that's really where becoming your own worst critic comes in, right? You need to have that self-awareness. You need to be able to look at yourself honestly. And the other side of this, though, is being your biggest fan. And this is crucially important, right? Because we ultimately we know ourselves the best, or we have the ability to know ourselves the best, right? Many of us might have these distorted perceptions of ourselves because we have low confidence, any of these issues. But we live with ourselves. If we're able to be honest with ourselves, we truly know our abilities, our potential better than anyone else. And, when I sit with myself, there's many areas that I have not yet achieved in, but I'm able to look at myself in the context of, like certain fields. Like, for instance, and I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. I feel like this is a little abstract, but I'm trying my best to make this concrete. What I'm saying is, being your biggest fan, I'm able to look at, let's say, my field of personal training, and looking at others, and because, comparing yourself to others is not always the best idea, but you need some context, right? So looking at others, I'm like, okay, my abilities as a trainer, they're high. My ability to connect with people is high. All these things, right? I'm checking them off. And then on top of that, I know my internal passion about what I'm doing is high. I know that I really do have the ability to be, excelling in my field. And when you know that, there's a confidence that brings that, okay, I can do this. Maybe I'm not there yet, but I can do this. And that once you believe you can do it, it's so much easier to just actively work towards it. Because if you don't really think you can do something, if you're like, I want to save $10,000, but you don't really believe you have the ability, and I think that's where I've been at a little bit, is I've been feeling like, oh, well, I want to save all this money, but my financial habits they're not where they need to be. And there's this underlying lack of belief that I have the self-discipline to do this. But when I think about, okay, people who are really successful with money, what do they have that I don't? Well, do they have intelligence or abilities that I don't have? No, they don't. I have all of that. They've just built habits and discipline over time. Well, building habits and discipline over time, have I done that anywhere? I've done that in my fitness. I've done that in my business. Okay, so I can apply that there. So being your biggest fan, you have to understand that you have greatness, you have abilities in certain areas, and once you're able to give yourself that confidence and that self-belief in those areas, you can then begin to transfer that to other areas and keep building. And once you're confident in this area, once you're confident talking to new clients in your business, you're going to realize, well, they're strangers. So is this beautiful girl over there. You'll begin to be confident talking to women. Once you begin to be confident talking to women, you can become confident talking to two women at the same time. Once you're confident talking to two women, you can be confident talking to groups, right? So it all builds on itself. It all builds, but if we want to build, we need to identify the areas that we're lacking. We need to be critical of ourselves, but we also have to have belief that we can achieve what we want, and that is built through being your biggest fan. The thing with that is there's delusional self-belief, and then there's belief that's grounded in action and reality, right? So if I said, I have the ability to, become a millionaire. Well, I wouldn't say it's delusional, but what am I basing that on? Well, I'm basing it on the fact that I am making a good income as a self-employed business owner, and that if I can expand that, I can become a 100,000-aire. If I can expand that, I can become a millionaire. And it's just building on itself, right? So there's some action I've taken. So taking action and building on those actions is important. I definitely felt like today's video was a little more rambly than I wanted it to be, but I think there was some good content in there, and I think that even if maybe my points weren't the most concise, I think I still had some nuggets in there that, you know, you all can relate to, and that I think at the very least will help you all to just think a little more about these areas. So I really hope you enjoyed the video. I gotta get running. I have a client to train, but I'm gonna keep posting these semi-frequently. I'm feeling very passionate about this, and I just really want to share everything I can about, you know, what's made me a better person and what I'm thinking about in this journey to continuously become a better person, because I have come so far, but I still have so far to go, as we all do. So I'll see you all in the next video. If you found this helpful, please give it a like, please subscribe. I'm just really passionate about building a community of like-minded men who want to become the best they can be financially, physically, mentally, you know, spiritually. So I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day.